Good morning, everybody. I hope you're well this Monday morning. Hope you're doing good. Hope you had a nice weekend. I'm so sorry for all the bad weather that we had over the weekend, though. Now we didn't have anything bad here where I live in southern Appalachia. Had some rain, that was all. But so many terrible tornadoes all over from the Midwest, especially Kentucky, hard hit, and then even up in the Great Lakes area, lots of damage and just so much bad weather. I'm so sorry, and I'm praying for everyone in those areas. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine the those you see the photos of the devastation there in Kentucky. You just can't imagine. But I'm praying for all those areas, and I hope that the spring storms are over. Maybe that was the last of them, and things will settle down. I hope so. It's terrible, terrible weather. I'm so sorry for all of them. We don't have right here where I live. It's tornadoes are rare. They can happen, but they're rare. So like there's been a couple that were that did damage, but not terribly. Didn't injure no lost lives. In other words, in the last 10 years, 15 years, something like that. But of course, the one in lots of different areas, the outbreak in the 70s, that one did come through Murphy and did, tear up lots of stuff and people lost their lives. But I just can't imagine. Like I said, you see those terrible photos from Kentucky and from other places too. And I'm just praying for all of them, the Midwest. And like I said, I saw this morning the Great Lakes area, some terrible storms there too, and Kentucky. So hopefully that'll be it for the spring storms. I sure hope so. We're kind of rainy here this morning. It's just kind of sprinkling right now, but I saw on my little weather app thing that by the end of the week we're supposed to be back down in the 40s, supposed to be in the 40s. So we're going to have a little bit of cool weather this week. Just overnight, it was like the upper 40s, so won't be any danger of frost, I don't think. But yeah, weather is very, very powerful, and it's just so sad when things like that happen, but I will be praying for them. We had other than those terrible storms for those people, but we had a good weekend, and we hope that all of you did too. It was on Saturday, it was kind of a slower day, so that was really nice. Got to just kind of take it easy a little bit and do some things I needed to do, and so that was nice. Granny and everybody's well. Everybody's doing good, but Granny did not have a good week last week, so I would ask y'all to pray for her. She's feeling puny, like we would say, looking peaked. When I saw her yesterday, I thought she looked peaked. So y'all can remember Granny, that she'd have a better week. Excuse me. Katie did help her one day last week while I was napping and help her do some stuff in her room. And she was really excited about that and bragging about that yesterday to me, about how much Katie had helped her and how good it felt. So maybe Katie told her she'd try to come back this week and help her some. But I just hope that she has a better week and feels better. So y'all can please remember Granny. And there's so many other people too. Continue to pray one for another. I know a lot of you have in the comments have shared your prayer request. I've shared some of the ones with you from Wendy, my friend Wendy, and from Janice and Lilybet. And I'm sure I'll miss some. I don't mean to, but all the ones that I've been saying, thank you for praying for them, and continue to do that and pray for one another. One thing this rain has done is our gardens are just looking amazing. They look so nice. I'm sitting here, I can see the beans really shot up. I've not been back to the big garden since our rain over the weekend, but if you watched our video last night, our corn was about that big. So I'm hoping it's now about that big. I hope it helped it a lot. And I need to go back and check on the winter squash and see if more of them come up since the rain, and the okra, and maybe some more of those beans. Our beans we planted down there are really, really great. I don't know, about 10 or so feet or 15. And then from then on, it was just kind of spotty. There'd be a a bean, and then there wouldn't be one for 2 feet or something. Then there'd be another one. So I hope the rest of those come up. Matt was up early this morning. He's gonna jump on the shed. He got some more material in. He's ready for the next step. He's been pecking away at it, and we'll share that in a video. But he was really hoping to do a lot today. But with the rain, he can't be up on the roof like that. Of course, he don't want to get wet either. But so he won't be doing that today. But maybe tomorrow things will dry up, and he will be able to do that. I'm still just enjoying, I do every year, the ivy. Most people call it mountain laurel, but ivy is called here in the mountains of North Carolina, and other places in Appalachia too. But I'm just still really enjoying it. I love that I can look everywhere I look. There's like a horseshoe in front of me. I can see it. And if I had eyes in the back of my head, I'd be able to see it that way too. So I just love that. And I love that it's so beautiful. But I also love that it was planted by God's own hand. He planted it. I didn't plant it. Nobody in my family planted it. So it's just amazing that this time of the year, the mountains are just dotted with that. And then we are so blessed because once it kind of begins to fade a little bit, then what we call laurel, other people say rhododendron, but once this fades, then the laurels start blooming. So then we have them, and I'm surrounded by it too. So it's just Appalachia is just such a beautiful, beautiful place to live. I'm very, very blessed to live where I do. Very, very blessed. So let's look at my notes to see what else I was going to tell you. I knew I was forgetting something. So a couple of years ago, I did a series of videos. A lot of you have been following me a long time will know it was about the Martins Creek Community Center and how at that time they were needing, financially they were fine, but they needed volunteers. They needed volunteers to help them keep it going, help keep that going. And so we tried to get the word out about that, and what we did helped, and then that kind of snowballed and other things helped. So they're still doing good. And in the summer months, they have gospel singings once a month, every fourth Saturday night. And that they sell hamburgers and hot dogs and drinks and stuff like that. And that helps pay for their light bill and things like that, anything that they need. So anyway, this coming Saturday, which is May 24th, is their first gospel singing. Excuse me, first gospel singing. A lot of you, if you follow the Blind Pig and Acorn channel too, you probably heard Paul talk about it. Paul and his band that he has now, they've just kind of created their own band. But him and Caleb and Jamie and Perry, they're going to be there. So they'll be there playing music. They usually try to have about 3 groups of music at any singing there, and they all just sing, I don't know, 4 or 5 songs, and people are, you can walk around and talk, and the nature of the community center, it's one of those old metal buildings. It's not really conducive to the best acoustics. It's not the best sound, like if you're interested in that, but it is a really sweet, special place, and I love it, of course. Anyway, Paul and his group will be there, and then our church choir, which is not many of us, but we'll be there too. So that's May 24th, which is next Saturday night. It starts at 6:00. And it's at Martins Creek Community Center. So that address, if you tried to look it up, would be, if you're a local person, you probably know where it's at, but it would be Murphy. It would be in a Murphy address. Martins Creek doesn't have its own zip code, so like Brasstown does. So it would be a Murphy address, Martins Creek Community Center. Anyway, I'm excited though. And then when I think about, that they were on the verge of maybe not being able to continue, and now here they are, they're still doing what they set out to do. So that's really great. And I'm excited about it. And I know they are too, of course. One other thing, I want to share the songs Paul did last week in case you didn't see them. But now last week when we did our morning, I tried to do the morning live, and we were having the stormy weather then, having thunder and stuff, and it just wouldn't work because of the storm. And I had to wait till late in the day. I had to do it at 6:00 that evening. Well, what I noticed is there was way more of you. So I wonder, would 6:00 in the evening be better? Should I change to 6:00 in the evening instead of doing it in the morning like this? Or maybe should I switch every week? Like this week, do it at 9:00 in the morning. Next week, do it at 6:00 at night. I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think about that. But I did notice there was a whole lot more people. which I know, from all the years of working outside the home, this is, any other Monday morning, I'd be like, well, no, I can't be there because I'll be at work. So I know that's it for a lot of people. So anyway, y'all can, excuse me, y'all can talk to me about that and tell me what you think. If that would be a better time, we'll just move it till 6 o'clock on Monday nights. So now let's see what we can find out about Paul. So one of them, I know if you didn't see this, you're going to love it. For the old, now this, that was his old timey song he did last week, was "Love Lifted Me" with Granny. That's a really old hymn. You may be familiar with it, and it's just beautiful. I mean, I grew up in singing it in church. We have a great video, and Paul links to it in that video down below in the description, of Pap and Paul singing it. If you, and it's one of the most popular videos on Pap and Paul's channel, on the Blind Pig and the Acorn channel, of Pap and Paul's videos, I should say. Anyway, but if you read the Blind Pig and the Acorn, you already know all this because I shared Paul's post yesterday. But it's really beautiful song and really uplifting song as a believer. It's really a beautiful song. Now the next one is one of the original. It's another one of Paul's, "Always Dreaming," that he wrote way back in the day when he was really young. And if you watch it, it's him playing it, and then he talks a little bit about how he wrote the song and gives some real technical details about playing the guitar and all that. But then at the end of it, he shares just the sound of him and Daddy singing it way back then when he first wrote it. And when I watched that video, I just thought, what a treasure for our family. I mean, I know that, I understand that, but sometimes it just really hits me that I'm so thankful we have those recordings. In that recording, Pap sounds younger, but Paul especially even says, something like, ignore or bear with or whatever my squeaky voice. Well, his voice wasn't squeaky. It was great even back then, but it was a young voice, because he was probably 16 or something like that. So what a wonderful treasure. I think I've shared this before in like my video where Matt interviews me. I'm sorry, I got like a frog in my throat this morning. But the Blind Pig and the Acorn, really, when I first created that blog, it just come from a really bad part of my life, and something really traumatic and all that. But then now I see, and of course, because I wanted to talk about Appalachia, I want to talk about music. It's so important to our lives. And because of that, I had to find a way to share it. So that's how the Blind Pig and the Acorn YouTube channel really started. I wasn't really trying to be a presence on YouTube. I just needed a place to store our music so then I could share it in the blog. The blog was the main focus in those days. Anyway, but what a blessing that we have all those videos of Pap that we, that come out of that bad place, but then what a blessing. But isn't that how God works? Isn't that, all things work together for good to those who are the called according to his purpose? So sometimes I think about that and think about all the many, many blessings that I don't deserve any of them whatsoever, but that God has blessed me with. And those old recordings are definitely part of it. And part of it is that part, what didn't have anything to do with the Blind Pig and the Acorn that Paul's sharing. But I'm so thankful that Paul, that he recorded those things. He way before the Blind Pig and the Acorn ever come about, he would, if we rent one, we had somebody in the family that had one, but those big old bulky camcorders, he made sure he got those and he recorded him and Pap. So I'm so glad. And I'm even thankful Pap and his brother Ray, all the years they played music, they recorded themselves on reel to reels. If you remember, if you're old enough to know what that is, I wouldn't know if I didn't grow up in a musical family. I used to love to play with the reel-to-reel machine with all the buttons and the levers and all that. Oh, I just loved it when I was a little girl. Anyway, but they recorded themselves on that. Then as years went by, they recorded themselves on cassette players. Did y'all ever record yourself on cassette players? We did that all the time. Anyway, I'm really thankful for all that documentation of our family's music. It's really, really great and really blessed to have it. I think we're ready for the wisdom. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's what we'll go on to the wisdom. Okay. And thank you so much for continuing to leave it. It's so inspiring and uplifting and gives me something to study on and something to think about. And it's so funny. Now, y'all see if you notice this. It's so funny. It seems like every time, all these months we've been sharing wisdom, it seems like there's a theme to what we share. So then that makes me think that's something I need to really examine in my life and study on. And maybe some of you feel like that too. I don't know, but I find that really interesting. So today's exactly the same. So this is from Ramona. Ramona, she said, can't never could. We were talking about the can'ts last week, so several of you left those, but just that can't never could. I mean, people said that to me when I was a child, and it made you want to drag your feet and be mad, but it is so wise. You just have to try. You have to try. So thank you, Ramona. This was from Wanda. I always heard can't never can and won't never will. Love it. I love it. I need to remember that one and start, when time appropriate, say it to Woodrow and Ira, but I need to say it to myself too when I'm dragging my feet. Can't never can and won't never will. Thank you, Wanda. This is from Kate. My wisdom is tough times don't last, but tough people do. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. I really do love that one. Thank you. This is from Bonnie. What better way to encourage than from the scriptures? I read this today and it reminded me that God will bring back the light when I find myself in the darkness. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me. And that was in Micah 7:8. Praying that you find yourself in God's light today and every day. And that was from Bonnie in Thompson, Georgia. Thank you, Bonnie. That is really, really encouraging. I really like this one a lot. This is from Rhonda. She left two of them, but this is the first one. Words of wisdom from my grandmother. If you are working on something that truly isn't worth your time, she would say, that's too much sugar for a dime. I adored her and gained much wisdom. I just love that so much. That's too much sugar for a dime. I need to remember it and start saying it. And sometimes I need to say that to myself too about something I'm working on I just don't need to do that. I need to do it either easier way or just I'm not supposed to do it. One of those things, trying to, I'm bad to fill my life with extra things that I don't need to. I love that. That's too much sugar for a dime. Thank you, Rhonda. Rhonda's other one was, I read this recently while waiting for God to open a door, praise him in the hallway. I love that one too. That's awesome as a believer. So many times we're so impatient for God to work the way we think he should work, thinking we know better than he does. But we don't, of course. But while waiting for God to open a door, praise him in the hallway. Love that one, Rhonda. Thank you. This is from Mary. Word of wisdom. A bought lesson is all right as long as it doesn't cost too much. A bought lesson is all right as long as it don't cost too much. I really love that one, Mary, and that goes along with, I think last week we were talking about sometimes we have to go through the hard times. Often I have to go through the hard times to learn, to realize, to understand, of course, to grow in my faith. So I really, really love that one. Donna said, for words of wisdom, don't lean on your shovel and pray for a hole. I love that one. I think we shared that one last week too, but I love that. We got to do our part for sure. This one is really funny, but really spot on too. Judy said, my brother's saying was, beware, puppy love can lead to a dog's life. Which today dogs have it pretty good. Most people's dogs do, like Olive. She's like Queen Olive, but yeah, that one's really funny. We've been talking about some that were like that, like being too attracted by your attraction, but then it was only skin deep. In other words, like if you were interested in someone, you better make sure they were the same way all through, instead of just their attractive looks. Barbara said, some of my friends from the southern area say when asked how you're doing, oh, fair to Midland. I bet a lot of you have heard that. I've heard that one. This is from Joanne. Words of wisdom. Be careful what you say. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, or you can't take the ring back from the bell. So true, both of those. You've heard, a lot of you have heard this one too. That one reminds me of how if you're upset about something, you're supposed to wait 24 hours before you speak a word, and it really does work. It really does help because 24 hours gives time for all those instant anger feelings and hurt feelings to kind of simmer down and then let you be more objective. And I try to do that. And oftentimes I find in 24 hours, I'm not even at all mad about it. And I look at it in a different way. And sometimes even like, oh, well, they didn't mean that. They meant this. So that's really goes along with that one. To wait 24 hours is a good rule to wait if you're upset. Jerry says, when someone asks me, how are you? I say, no major complaints, and the minor ones aren't worth mentioning. That's a good one. That's a good one. Sylvia said, I say, I'm walking and talking, so I'm alive and blessed. I like that one. This one's from Preston. When somebody asks you how you're doing, say upright with oil pressure in both engines. That's a really colorful one. I like that one. It's funny. Yesterday, one of my dear people I love at church, I asked her how she was doing, and she said, I'm okay. And then she said something not Preston's, but one of the others about like I'm upright and going. And I said, because I knew we've been talking about this, I said, oh, you're upright and taking nourishment. She said, yeah, that's it. That's what I'm doing. So I love all of those. Sandra said, I cut this out of the newspaper when I was 16. I'm 68 now and still try to live by it. Laughter is the shock absorber of life's blows. That's a really, really good one, too. It does us so good to laugh. And, even in hard times, I've shared this, but I'll share it again. Thinking immediately comes to mind is Miss Cindy, being sick when she first started having trouble. Miss Cindy is Matt's mother, if you didn't know, but we thought that it was dementia. She thought it was dementia. I mean, her mother had that, and so she just assumed. She thought it was too. We all did, and it took me a while. She just didn't go to the doctor. She never had to, and she treated herself with natural supplements and things like that. She was very healthy, and she just didn't do doctors. So it took me a long time to convince her we should go just to see what if there's anything that could help you, anything. So anyway, when we did go, we found out it was not dementia at all. It was cancer, and it had went to her brain, and it was making her brain swell, and that's what was causing her to be forgetful and not be able to understand and all that. But even the day that me and her left the doctor's office, when we found that out, I got in the car and we're just kind of looking at each other. And I said, well, you don't have dementia. You've got terrible cancer, but you don't have dementia. And we just kind of both laughed because we just all been focused on the dementia. And then when we got home and told Matt said, he, of course, was at work. He said, well, you thought you was losing your marbles, Mama, but they were just all pushed to one side. And we laughed again, even though we knew this was a sentence that was not good, but that laughter, being able to do that, it really does help with life's blows for sure. Holly said, words of wisdom: halt. Never make a decision if you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. So that goes right along with my saying that I try to tell myself I have to wait 24 hours. So that goes halt. That's a good one. Hungry, don't do it if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And y'all may be like me. You may get hangry where you're hungry and angry all at the same time. That's really great, Holly. Thank you. Thank you. Circuit Rider said, Dad always said, if there's time to do it over, there's time to do it right the first time. You got to do it right the first time. Granny and Pap said a version of that to us. Like, if you can't do it, theirs was mostly, if you're not going to do it right, just don't do it at all. Just walk away and let someone that's going to do it right do it, But I like that one, Circuit Rider. Thank you. This is from Dash Riprock. Isn't that a great name? I'm thinking about how thankful I am for how the Lord blesses me. If someone asks how I'm doing, my response is always better than I deserve. I feel the same way, better than I deserve. I'm so blessed. Tony said, hey, Tipper, I came across a quote I thought I'd share that could be considered words of wisdom. Don't focus on perfection or control. You are not in control of anything, and there is no such thing as perfection. That's really good, Tony. Thank you for sharing that. And over the course of all this, a lot of you have shared quotes about how we try to get perfection and we throw good, you know, just perfectly good, as we would say, not perfection, but good. We throw it in the garbage because we're looking for perfection. So that's really great, Tony. Thank you. Sandra said, Tipper, going along with kindness, the t-shirt I'm currently wearing says kindness is free. That's great wisdom. Kindness is free. It is totally free to be kind to other people, whether it's somebody you see at the grocery store, somebody you see at church, or somebody in your own family. It's totally free to be kind. Linda says, hi, Tipper. My words of wisdom or encouragement I say every morning is, God, get into my head before I do. I really love that one, Linda. That is a wonderful way to start your day. As a believer, we know that it's so hard to keep the enemy out of our brain and the worries of the world. So that is wonderful. God, get into my head before I do. Thank you, Linda. This is from Joe. Words of wisdom. Remember that being happy doesn't mean you have it all. It simply means you are grateful for all that you have. Great one, Joe. And gratefulness does play such a role in our happiness, for sure. This is Wanda has several, and these are all from Wanda. Wisdom is the right use of knowledge, and that's what we're doing. We're sharing our knowledge here. Wanda said too, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. So it's true. If you don't have a goal or a life's map, I would say, like the map of my life, if I don't have where I want to go, then it doesn't really matter what I do or how I get there. And then the last one from Wanda is, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. I bet y'all have heard that one. I have, but that's great. That's wonderful to think about. And all of you are helping me with my journey. So I really, really appreciate that. Appreciate all of you. So that was all the wisdom I had for this week. I hope that you'll continue to leave it, and we can continue to share it and inspire each other, make each other smile. That's, some of those are just want to make you laugh, and laughter. It was one of the wisdom ones. Is good for us, good for life, life's blows, for sure. Oh, Michael says during the live streams, he's always mesmerized by how quiet it is here. It is very quiet, very quiet. And hear the birds and hear the creek. And there is like a equipment yard, part of our family down there. So sometimes you can hear that kind of stuff. But right now it's pretty quiet down there. I mean, that's usually in the morning and in the evening when they're coming and they're leaving for work. So, Brian, what am I filming this week? I have a video to share where Matt made us a delicious supper. It was really, really good. And I want to do a garden tour, but because things have changed so much, some of the things I wanted to share, blooms like my peonies, they're about done. So I don't even know if I get to show those. But it's really pretty. If I could show y'all right now, got the primroses blooming, the yellow ones, with some pink gladolias, Uncle Woodrow's red rose, and then the beans and the cabbage and all that marching along. So really looks beautiful. So I want to do a garden tour, and I don't know what else. We'll just have to see what this week holds for us. I might hopefully can work on the shed some more, but we'll have to see about that. So far, how's the force field working? That's a question. So far, so good. So far, so good. So hopefully the force field will keep working. If you didn't watch our video last night and you don't know what we're talking about, it's the little deer alarms we put out and the streamers in the blueberries. So far, so good. But I don't guess I'm counting my chickens yet before they hatch. We'll have to see how they do for the rest of the year. Oh, I hope you like the spinach. Someone's saying their spinach is up and they can't wait to taste it. I did have a comment last night about the spinach that someone said they grew it, but they didn't like it because it does have that, ochre, and I can't never think of the sliminess. A lot of you will just tell me in the comments, I know there, but it does have that, a little bit of that. And then the leaves are better when they're, I mean, it depends, but you might like them better when they first come out, when they just kind of first unfurl. As they hang there on the vine, they do get tougher. They get bigger, but they get tougher. But when if you cook it, I think that stuff goes away. Just like okra, you cook okra and you don't notice it anymore if you fry okra, or you maybe put it in a soup or something like that. So anyway, I hope you like the spinach as much as we do. Hope you do. Yeah, I hope we can, Jennifer. I hope we can share more about the shed. Matt was gonna work on it today, but it's now as I'm talking, it's the rain's increasing. It's raining. But he's anxious to be done with that and be done with it. Oh, I'm so happy you found the Cherokee purple plants in Pennsylvania. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Our tomatoes look great. Now, Matt said he thinks these that we put down here, the Randy Hooper ones this year's all we put there, he said they've already took on that yellow cast that they do. But I think he's wrong. I think they look good. So we'll see who's right, me or Matt. They grew good there last year, though. We had a lot of those. They really done good. That's why I want to do them again. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see about that. Oh, I'm glad somebody else. So I guess Cherokee Purple is one of the ones that's more common, one of the heirloom ones that's getting more popular. And maybe they're easier to find because I've had lots of people say that they were looking for them in their places and found them this year, like even at like big box stores. Some people have told me so. Oh, Renee, that's a sweet story about your daddy. Yes, sometimes you just I have to laugh. Oh, all sold out, KB. I'm sorry. I hope you find them somewhere else. Oh, wow. Seen the first Bravo chick, seen the first lightning bug last night. Summer has arrived. I've not seen any yet. For me, I think summer has arrived when I hear the katydids, and not heard any katydids yet. It's not time for them. But when I first hear them, and I always I want to hear the first one. Like that's a goal, like a dream of mine. Usually they're in full chorus, and then one night I realize, and like, how long have they been doing that? And probably for a week, and I just didn't notice. I'm so used to it. But one night, me and Kate, since see, I don't remember. I don't guess it was right before she had Ira. I guess me and Katie, Matt left us up talking, which is unusual. I'm usually the one to go to bed. I wrote about it on the Blind Pig and Acorn. I'd have to go back and look. But right when me and Katie turned everything off, we were talking. We wasn't really watching TV. I heard one, I thought, and then I went back there and woke Matt up and was like, "Did you hear a katydid?" And he's like, basically, leave me alone or whatever. But then I heard a few more, and then I didn't hear nothing. And then the next night, I really paid attention and I heard a few. So I think maybe that year I succeeded, but I'm always wanting to do that again. Always. Uh, oh, Mama, thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoy our videos enough to watch them again. I appreciate that so much. Yes. I love someone's asking about the Appalachian storyteller. We love him and we watch his videos. Yes, he's very nice. And I've talked to him via email, and he's very nice, very, very nice. Has helped us, in fact. So very nice. Very nice. We love his videos. Um, Matt especially likes the more spooky ones. Like Matt likes horror movies and all that. I don't like the scary stuff, but I love them. I can't imagine how much time it takes him to do those videos, because it takes us so much time to do ours, but ours are not edited like his. His is so interactive, and with the different scenes and, the graphics and all that. It's just amazing. He does a great, great story. No, Sainer, the alarms, they've not bothered either boy, neither one. And someone asked last night in the video, said, well, do they keep people? I guess they were thinking about other people in the holler. Do they keep them up? Not that I'm aware of. Nobody's told me that, but where we live for my entire life, since I basically lived here, other than the time I moved away when I met Matt, there's always been dogs that roam around. And most years, not so much now, but in years past, it was always hound dogs. So they chase stuff and they tree on something, whether it's a possum or whatever it is, and they bark. So there's just been so many times in my life about barking dogs at night, all night long, sometimes under my window, the little beagle now that roams around, sometimes he's under our window. But I think people are so used to that they don't pay any attention. Let's see. Living life. I accidentally drained my 14-day pickle brine at 6 days. Are they okay to keep making? Well, I mean, when you drained it, did you put them back, put something back over them? Or is it just happened right now? Oh, at 6 days. I see what you're saying. That very first one. Yeah. Did you just do the next step? If you did, just continue on. You'll be just fine. You'll just be just fine. If that's what you meant. Like if you drained it, you didn't let them stay the whole 7 days, perfectly fine. I've got mine canned finally now. But that's the good thing about them. Like if there's a day, like it's the day to can them, but you can't can them, just do that same step you did the day before. Boil that, the syrupy stuff and put it back over them. Or if there's a day that you can't in between there, you can just continue with that day. Or if you have to leave one out, I think it'll be okay too. I think so. Oh, Rita, thank you. I'm so glad you enjoy what we do. Oh, Brian, that's so nice. I've been eating watermelon every day. I've been getting them. I got one at the Spud Shack. It was really good. And then the rest of mine have come from Peachtree Produce, and they've just been so good. No, Donnie Laws is a different person that talks about Appalachian Raiden, and I love Donnie Laws too. He tells the best stories, and Donnie's just got the best voice and accent. But Donnie is different. But both of those channels are top notch. They're fantastic, both of them. Bravo Chick, we are down to, we only have 3 hens. 3 hens is all we have. And the reason we don't have more is because that's another one of our projects. We want to redo the chicken coop. So we don't want to get any more till we've made ourselves redo it. So that's what we're going to do. Purslane, Michael wants to know, is purslane commonly eaten? I love purslane. I have it growing everywhere and we eat it, but I never eat it growing up. I didn't know about it until I got older. And I don't remember who told me about it, how I learned about it, but I like it. I like it to put it in salads, and I like it just like raw, and then I like it cooked too. Living life, I do pickle okra. Not every year though, but I have eaten some of the best pickled okra recently, and it was a gentleman at church that brought it. See, I guess that would have been Easter when we all got together and ate at Easter. And then he would come in with 2 jars and set them down, and I was like, "Oh, I got to have some of that." So I did, and it was delicious. And me and another boy at church, I say boy, he's a man, but he's Corey and Katie's age, so in my mind, he's a boy. But anyway, he let us. We both were kind of fighting over it. He let us each take what was left over, take a jar home with us. Anyway, but Gerald is the man that made the pickles, and he told me he made them just like his mother's recipe for the tomato pickles, which I've made before. I have it on the Blind Pig and the Acorn, and he used that exact same recipe. And his family, forever, they've been doing this. They get together each one time during the summer. I mean, and there's a bunch of them, and they bring in all this produce and they make pickles together. They rent the community center and they do it all. So I asked him, and I've known about that for years. And I asked him if maybe he would let me come and video it. And he said he would. So we'll see if that works out. That would be later in the season, though. It'd be a while. Gina, Granny doesn't play any musical instruments, but she has always been a singer, as we would say. She's always been a singer. Mamo, I have canned dilly beans, and I think I did a video on it. So I look in my on my page. Let's see if I can go find it for you. Let's see. I don't even know where I'm at here. I'm always afraid I'll lose y'all when I go somewhere else, but let's see. Yeah, so I do have it. Okay, you're still here. I'm always afraid I'll lose you. So here's a recipe for dilly beans that I use. I don't make them every year, but I do like them. I learned how to make them from Nanette Davidson at John C. Campbell Folk School many years ago. It's many years ago. Living life. Oh, you're asking someone else if they have the recipe. Okay, good. So it wasn't about me. I was going to say, if it's the tomato one, it's on my website. Rachel, that's great. We tried black creme. I think that was last year or maybe the year before, but they just didn't do as good for us as the Cherokee Purple. And it is so interesting how, if you're a gardener, you know this. Like, I might like just rave about how the Cherokee Purple do, and all of you that have bought them, you may grow them, and they might produce one or two tomatoes for you, in the same way that a lot of people rave about the brandy wines. But me and Matt tried for years to grow them, and then we tried again last year for the first time in years. I just want to see if anything had changed. And the plant will produce like two tomatoes, and that's all. And they're tasty, but we can't grow, can't justify for two tomatoes. So it's all about your little microclimate where you're at. So I hope your Cherokee Purples, though, do as good as ours do. And the black creme just didn't do as good as they did for us. But I've heard so many people brag about those. Oh, that's great, Logan. I hope they do great for you too. And yeah, Tommy toes are prolific for us, and I just love them. And I'm so excited now that last year when I discovered how easy it is to use my abundance of them to make tomato juice, I just loved it. So I'm excited about that. Michael's going to be making pinto beans with smoked sausage later. That sounds delicious. Oh, well, thank you so much, Mrs. Snow. Um, Says they first found my channel looking for cornbread, and in that video, I tell I tell a story about my would have been Pap's grandfather getting killed when he went to the mill. But it's funny. People either like that, they like the stories, but they are like, please, lady, be quiet. All I want is the recipe. And I'm like, well, for me, it's more about the talking than the recipe. For me, it's more about the stories and the history. So I appreciate all of you who like the stories. The Appalachian storyteller we were just talking about, Appalachians, stories come easy to them. And what do you tell stories about most of the time? It's about your family and things and maybe even stories your family, like that story. I've been told that, but of course I wasn't alive in those days, but it's been passed down through our family, and we're still telling the story of that, what happened and how bad it was, even though we really never knew those people at all, even though they were our family. I mean, I'm sure we would have loved them, but I'm glad all of you who like the stories. I'm so glad. Michelle, that sounds great. Oh, thank you, Rachel. I couldn't stop the stories if I tried. I couldn't stop the stories no more than I could stop talking with my hands. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Could not do it at all. Well, I've kept y'all for a long time, so I hope you. Yes, Norman. Good to see you, Norman. And we are praying for those terrible storms and tornadoes, praying for all the people affected. It is so sad, and I hope they all go away and there's no more. Oh, thank you, Denisha. Near perfect. Thank you. I'm glad for people that appreciate that too. I'm glad. I had a comment last night. I might do a video about this, just trying to explain it, but that said they didn't understand why, when I was talking about the ivy, they didn't understand why I would want to teach my children, because I told a story about the little boy at church, why we would want to teach our children to be ignorant, to not, say the correct word. Well, that just speaks to your culture. Like if I just totally conformed to something, I don't know who I would pick, but like the generic, I don't know, generic American speech or something like that, my culture would be gone. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I mean, other people can do it. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. But I'm not going to do that. And I don't think teaching my kids that we call that ivy is causing them to be ignorant. I think it's continuing our culture. So I'm so glad you enjoy our language. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, keeping the Appalachian culture alive. And even as hard as I've been working since 2008 to keep it alive, it's slowly fading. So, so those, even that, I love that Gerald told the youngster there that it was ivy, but even that, school will probably eradicate that from him and he'll never remember that it's ivy. I hope he does, though. I hope he'll remember that. I hope so. And then, like I shared in that video about that, if you go back far enough in the dictionary, that's it. It is ivy. It's the calico tree or the calico bush or ivy, the ivy tree, the ivy bush. That was it. So it changed somewhere along the way. And then those of us who kept calling it what the dictionary had actually called it then are, said to be teaching our children ignorance. So anyway. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate that. Well, I appreciate all of you, and I sure hope you have a good week. I'm going to go to the post office. That's on my next. I'll tell you what's on my next to-do list is I got to go ship cookbooks and a few egg separators. People have been asking me about them. I have another order in for egg separators and for mugs, and as soon as they're available, I will let you know. But it may take Rob a while to make them. I always tell him no hurry, just whenever he can. Whenever he can get to it. So once we have those, I'll tell you. Still got cookbooks and CDs though. So living life. I'm so glad you enjoyed the cookbook. Thank you so much. I'm so glad, and I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I hope there's no more storms. I know all of you are like me. You're going to pray for one another and pray for those people suffering from those terrible storms. I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.